Without any further hesitation, it is a great pleasure to welcome the person who leads the outstanding board of directors who you just saw stand, our chair, Richard Bagnall, also the co-managing partner of CARMA. And I'm sorry, Mazen, I realize I should probably do that in reverse order, but I can't resist. So, Richard, please join me on the stage for the welcome and for your overview of the member survey. Thank you, Richard.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jonna, for the words of welcome. It is great to be here. So that's me, I'm Richard. And Jonna has just talked about some of the challenges and said a whole load of thank yous, but she admitted what I think is the most important thank you that we need to say, because she alluded to what a great achievement it is to have us all here in person once again. But the hard work and dedication that AMEC's executive team have done to make this happen has been phenomenal, and it's done with incredible grace and good humor, and we're all immune from it. We don't get to see the hard work that's happened. But I would like all of us again, please, to thank Julie and Benita, but especially a big, big thank you to Jonna Burke, who leads the executive team so beautifully. Thank you to our speakers. We've got an incredible lineup of speakers who've come from all over the world to give generously of their time and their expertise in the spirit of what AMEC exists for, that concept of a rising tide to lift all ships, of sharing best practice generously and freely. And I'm grateful to all of you for coming, and I can't wait for this excellent program that we've got. And we've got about 150 of us in this room. There's another 150 joining us virtually. It's fantastic. And I'm just so pleased to say we're back. And doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good for real people, real connections, real networking, and to be back, as AMEC is known, for our great events? John said I'd put up a slide with the logos of our sponsors. I think we all know that an event like this just cannot happen at any sensible price point without their support and generosity. And we've already said it, but I'd like to say it again. A huge thank you to Simon and Florian and the team at Observer, who have been the most gracious, generous, supportive partners. For 3 years, we've had to postpone and wait with this promise of an event in Vienna. But here we are, and thank you guys for your support. It's fantastic to be in your beautiful city, and we're so pleased to be here. Thank you as well to Sylvie and the team at Intrado. They really did save our bacon, I think, over the last 2 years with the ability to use the platform. Thank you, Sylvie, and thank you for allowing us to do a hybrid event as we go back to the new normal today. Jonna didn't say, but in the pandemic, about 30% of trade associations didn't survive. And the fact that AMEC has done, and it's come through stronger and better than ever, I think is a huge testimony to her leadership of the executive team. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to all of you who have traveled and have come here and are navigating the new normal as well. To the delegates, I know many of you, of course, have come from all over the world, and we appreciate it, and it is fantastic to see you all. So my job is to talk about the global membership survey. Now, this is going to be in your inboxes in the week commencing the 13th of June. The data is just being produced. I'm going to give you a flash first insight into some of the key highlights. The research was run between the 14th of April and the 11th of May. So as you can tell, it really is hot off the press. In terms of some of the key stats, we had a 41% response rate. So those of you who didn't respond, I know who some of you are, but I won't directly look at you. Naughty, naughty. Please make sure you fill in the form next year, and let's get that number back up. But of course, I know everyone's been very busy as we go back to that new normal. What can we see from our members? Well, I guess the sweet spot is sort of the biggest area, if you like, is members with a revenue, the small to mid-size, that sort of 1 to 5 million bracket. Most of them are doing global work, and of course, the specialists in measurement and analytics. And it's a story of confidence. This is an industry that's bouncing back. This is an industry that went into the pandemic, I think, like so many organizations, nervous and scared for what it meant and what the future would hold. And what we can see from this survey is that we're moving forward with confidence and with optimism. And as Thomas from the drink sponsors, Infomedia, last night said to us, even though there are headwinds in the world, and the world remains a troubled place, perhaps more troubled than ever, and to those of you with friends or family or relatives or colleagues who are affected in the situation in Europe, I send my support and my love to you. But we face many challenges, but those challenges actually for our industry are an opportunity, I think. We live in an age, we operate in an age of accountability. And in an age of accountability, our clients, the comms professionals, they need to be able to prove their value and point to the value that they create. Our clients need our insights and they need our data to do their job effectively. So there remains reason for confidence as we bounce back. And it comes through in the report. If you pull out some of the vox pops, 2 years of double-digit growth. Clients are more interested than ever. Business numbers are increasing. Now, it's not to say that there aren't challenges. Of course there are challenges. We all face challenges in our business. The challenges that were being called out, recruitment, retention, cost of living, inflationary pressures on salaries. And of course, in a world where we can't all be together in offices and a lot of us still haven't got back together fully in those offices, how do we train and mentor and give us new staff the support that they need? But I think those are challenges that we're adapting to and that we can cope with. So when we look at this optimism, what do we see? Well, we see a steady increase in those expecting the industry to grow. 88% of our members, so nearly 9 in 10, now expect to see growth next year. And this, for those of you who've had an opportunity to see the Burton Taylor report that recently came out, is reflected in that. They report that the media intelligence industry grew by 14.7% last year, and I think our data reflects that as well. The area Burton Taylor report is seeing the most growth is the area of the sweet spot of our members, so the small to medium-sized businesses. When we look at new business, we're seeing confidence right across the board. And I'm sorry on this slide it didn't print what the three bars are talking about, but it's from the top. It's number of new clients, number of RFPs and tenders, and the bottom one is number of international RFPs, and whether people are expecting an increase or a decrease. And we can see across the board here again that confidence coming through. When we look at what's driving the growth, well, perhaps unsurprisingly, it's innovation. What does innovation mean? Perhaps we normally think, well, that's something about tech and having developers and that kind of stuff. But when we drill into it, and I've pulled out the 4 top ones for you on the left here, the things that are really driving that growth are consultative services, automation, organic or like-for-like sales, and integrated measurement services. And I want you to hold these thoughts in your mind when I move on to the next slide as well. I want to make a point, though, about the first one, this consultative services. It's my belief that our client base have plenty of data being offered to them. What they need is expertise and support to help them to understand what that data means. And that opportunity for genuine consultative services and added value is significant, and it's great to see it reflected here. So as we think about this then, consultative services, organic sales, integrated measurement services, and we look at the media channels that we're seeing growth across. Again, if I pull out the top 4, it's social media, online media, owned media, and other survey and research data. Well, what does that say to me? When you look at these two slides together, that talks to me about the importance of AMEC's premium asset, the integrated evaluation framework, which guides and supports organizations of any size on exactly how to do these things. How do you bring outputs, outtakes, and outcomes together across the new world of media, paid, earned, shared, and owned? And we can see that being reflected here. And to call out social particularly, you can see it's the number one area that our members are reporting. The Burton-Taylor report, again, reflects what it is we're showing here, that social media, according to Burton-Taylor, last year grew by 24%, by far the biggest area of growth in our sector. So, as I start to wrap, we always like to ask our members about what they see are the important things for AMEC's role. And as I come to the end of my period as chair, it's great for me to see this, because these are the things that have mattered to me for the 26 years that I've been a member of AMEC. It's about a rising tide lifting all ships. It's about a competitor group working together for the benefit of a bigger cause and a broader industry. And that is about sharing best practice. It's about being generous with our case studies. It's about helping other companies in our industry to do better. It's about helping our client base to understand what it is that really matters. It's about education, and of course, it's about networking. So as I sign off for this morning, and we're sitting here back in person, navigating this new normal, what a nice thing to think about, the importance of networking. And here we are with 2 days ahead of us where we can do exactly that. So, as you know, last year we celebrated our 25th anniversary, and we're still celebrating it now because we're together in person. As I look to the future, as I look to the next 25 years, I think of what I said the last time we were in person on a stage. I said, now is our time. And I think today, more than ever, now is this industry's, this association's time. We should look to the future with confidence. We should realize that our services are more in demand than they have ever been. I've been fortunate to be in this industry for nearly 27 years, and never before have our services been as hot a subject or as in demand as they are today. Our clients need our services, they need our data, they need our insights. How can they plan? How can they strategize? How can they know if they're doing an effective job without the stuff that we produce for them? I know that we're going to hear, and we're so grateful and lucky to have him, we're going to hear from Chris, and Chris is going to emphasize that point. And I'm so pleased, Chris, that you're here and able to do that. That's it from me. I would like you now, please, to welcome the boss of our headline sponsor, Florian Laszlo, who's going to say a few words. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everyone. And I can't express how glad I am to see all of you here gathered in that room, even huddled at close proximity to each other. So I know that those last 2 years of the strictest lockdowns worldwide, the longest lockdowns that we had in Austria, as Jonas said, the virus was the same all over the world, but the reactions to it have been quite different. And so we chose the full lockdown for several times in the last 2 years. On the good side is that we're now probably in one of the safest places concerning that virus and even the monkeypox here in Vienna, because we invested that heavily. Gladly, our government also invested in handouts at an extreme level. So business-wise, we didn't take that much of a dip in Austria, which is something that we have to pay for in the coming decades. But at least for now, everything seems to be fine. I thank Jonna for asking again and for the friendship and keeping us in the loop even over those 2 years. And I think we're a record 3 years in a row headline sponsor of just one Congress. And so also that is now coming to its final fruition with this Congress here. And I want you all not to party like it's 2020, but to party like it's 2019, actually. So just remember back those old times, because the next normal should also feel a little bit like the old normal. Observer is a family-owned company, and we're in the data business. This is why that title or that subtitle at the data table is so telling and perfectly matching, because we're in the data business for by now 126 years. And we started as a media monitor, and we're a media monitor still. And we are part of AMEC in some way or form since 1998 or 2000 or something, so also quite a while ago. The data is the core of our business. This is what we are providing, but we're in a small market, so we are also doing analysis, and we do social analytics, and we branched even more out into market research to give a more complete picture to our clients. From the side of the help that we can give some of you guys, it is definitely on the data part, not on the measurement part. I think you're well equipped there. But on the data part, this is a tricky business, because those data tables that you need to have filled to be good at the table with your client need to have the good and precise data, because if you do not do your job right at the beginning of the analysis, there is a saying like in and out. So we're the ones caring for the good stuff in, so that there can be good stuff coming out. So this is one of the reasons that we invited you all here. And the other reason is that we just like to party, and that we like to party hard and to have fun. And before doing that, we are looking forward to all those intellectual intakes to gather today, that we have the right outcomes and even outgrows in the coming weeks. So everyone, welcome again here to Vienna, and I'm very glad that you're all here. One more thing, just that goodie bag, to give you a feeling, a few words to that goodie bag, because it's quite liquid in the goodie bag. So we took the liberty of adding a local beer brand, and with a celebratory can of Falco. All the ones of you might remember Rock Me Amadeus. It was once a Billboard #1 hit, so we'll still hold him dearly here. And a few other things that are typically local, like those manna little wafers. Those are brand-wise really interesting, because they are the only ones who might use, or who may use, the Stephansdom, St. Stephen's Cathedral, as a brand or part of their brand, which is completely forbidden. But the wonderful thing is they've done it such a long time ago that they couldn't take it away from them again. So history goes a long way, and it goes a long way into the future, and the future is the thing that we are going to talk about those coming 2 days, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting you all here. Thank you.